Hey, everybody, welcome back. Can you smell that? Football is upon us. September 5th is creeping, and we are here to give you our best stuff. We are going to be talking about Florida State practices, scrimmages, who's flashing, who's dudding, whatever the opposite of flashing is. We're going to get to everything right now. We got our own special guest here, Tomahawk Nation's Brett Nevitt, who has been the boots on the ground, eyes on the field at all of these practices. Before we get to that, guys, go to the X's and Knowles YouTube page, subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding, turn it on, do all that. Go to the Patreon, give Kevin all of your money so he can buy some fly ass stuff. And also, we're getting big on social media now. We've got an Instagram page, we've got a Facebook page, we've got a Twitter. Go through all that. Triple Option FSU, search for it. We'll put all that stuff in the description of the bio. How you guys doing? Kev,
Beautiful.
Adam,
Beautiful.
and of course, Brett, Tomahawk Nation's own Brett Nevitt. Brett, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome to the Triple Option.
I'm doing pretty good. First day of classes today.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot different being back in person.
Yeah,
There
I'm
you go,
not a big
man.
fan. Hard to find parking.
Correct.
All right, Kevin, you don't need to rain on the guy's parade. He was enjoying himself. He's having a nice day at classes.
You
Yeah,
think
finally
I'm
get to spend
having
some of your
some
undergrad
preparation for
experience
being
here.
Back to class?
Well, speaking of in-person stuff, Brett, you have been at how many practices have you been to now watching Florida State this season?
I think I went to one practice at UNF and then the 5 in-person practices this past week. So 6 so far this fall.
So you have seen more football than all of us have, actual eyes on the football, not just the clips that people can Blair Witch Project out on their phone quickly and then get accosted for on the internet. You've been there in person. You got to soak all the stuff up. What have been your in-person impressions of Florida State, especially when comparing them to last year's squad?
Yeah, well, it was a weird week, to be honest, just with
Yeah.
availability of players and unavailability of players, just kind of up and down. But, we found out that it's just all, workload, and they don't expect anybody that wasn't injured coming into the fall to be having injury issues going, into Notre Dame game. So that made the week a little weird. But, I mean, overall, it's just a team that's definitely improved from last year. But, still some of the same questions at linebacker and, are they going to find the playmakers at wide receiver to make big plays? But I think just overall, it's a team with more depth than it had last year and some big improvements in certain rooms.
We made it about 3 minutes before we started talking about poor linebacker play. I actually do
yeah.
think that that's a record for the show. Normally it comes up a lot sooner. So like you said, Brett,
Linebackers.
to me, it sounds like a team, like you said, it's improved, a little bit more depth, but with the same questions that we saw last year. How much so, I guess we'll find out on September 5th. One question that I have for you, with all of the workload management and who's been practicing and who isn't has been the hot topic amongst the fan base. Do you feel like this is a team that's building continuity coming up into September 5th with all of these different combinations and the main guys that we're going to be counting on taking some time off?
Yeah, I think it's a team that's building some, that continuity, but also just versatility. And, Norvell's mentioned that a lot every day after practice that he's talked to us, just that they're trying to be a versatile team. And, last year they had so many injuries and they just got so bogged down on the depth chart where they just had nobody at certain positions. But this year they feel like they have just way more options for things they want to do, guys that can play different positions and just a lot of different combos of guys playing in different spots. So, I think that's been part of that workload thing. It's just seeing where guys fit in, seeing what, backups can make a difference for them this year. And I think that they have a lot more of that versatility this year than they did last year.
Now, Brad, I know that Mike Norvell has been very strict about what sort of information gets out of these practices. So just so we don't get you in trouble, blink twice if Mike Norvell is in your house right now watching this interview. All right, we're clear. Very nice. So we talked a little bit about the weaknesses, linebackers. Let's keep it on the positive spin. What have been some things that have stood out to you that could possibly make you buy into this team? What are some strengths of the team, whether that's position group or players? What do you think?
Yeah, so defensive back room has probably been one of the big positives for me
Interesting.
this fall. I'm not saying they're going to be amazing or
They were so bad
You're
last
saying
year
they're
that
going to
the
carry
bar
us
is
to 12
low.
wins?
they're not going to be a lockdown group, but there's never going to be a game this year where there's only 3 DBs available or anything like that. I think they brought in 7 newcomers this year, and a lot of those guys have looked really good. And there's been some position changes there that I think are going to help them a lot. And Akeem Dent has looked a lot more comfortable moving to safety. Travis Jay's played a lot of corner, and he's looked really good at corner. Been kind of a lockdown guy for them, and Jarvis Brownlee growing into that role and understanding his role as, kind of just their dog on defense. And, him and Jay I think have been the best 2 cornerbacks one-on-one. And, those guys will pick up some pass interferences just because they play so physical, but they're also going to piss off a lot of wide receivers, I think. So, I think that's been one big improvement for me, just the depth there and also the talent there. I mean, Hunter Washington, Kevin Knowles, Shayne Brown, all those freshmen have looked really good to me. Jamie Robinson just does a lot for them as a newcomer. He can play safety. He can play, up with the linebackers a little bit, play some nickels. So, like that versatility I talked about, they've just got so much more of that there.
So Brown is a name that seems to come up quite often.
Yes.
I know for myself, I wasn't expecting a year ago to come up as frequently. What is it about this kid that gets the coaches going?
He just seems to be always around the ball and kind of know where to be as a freshman. I think he had an interception on 4 of 5 days I was there this week, or 3 of 5 days, and had an interception last night in the scrimmage as well. And sometimes they're just on tipped balls, but it's just him being in position to make plays. And, he also can get down the run game and thump a running back once in a while. He still makes some freshman mistakes you see, and Norvell got in his grill a couple times this week, but I think that's because he really likes the potential, and I think they really think that he's going to, see the field a little bit or a good bit for them in his freshman season.
Is he at stud or buck?
He's
everywhere.
He's
just omnipresent.
Honestly, I feel like everyone's been playing in the DB room, just playing a lot of different positions. I mean, Jay and Brownlee have flipped sides a couple times or every time in practice. I mean, I think they're still trying to figure that. I'm guessing these last 2 weeks of practice, we'll see guys really fit into one spot just in practice there alone.
Now, Brett, Adam is bursting at the seams. You can tell the steam is building up on his beautiful bald head. I know he wants to talk trenches. I'm going to get to that in a second. You said something interesting to me, that Norvell got up in Shayne Brown's grill. There's been talk of Mike Norvell's demeanor, like really challenging guys, like transfer wide receiver Andrew Parchment. What we only see is kind of, I wouldn't say it's carefully cultivated, but Mike Norvell is very aware of the image that he's portraying in the interviews that he's doing. Anything that surprises you about him or some of the other coaches, how they're interacting on the practice field? Like, what are these guys really like from a football perspective? You're the insider now.
I mean, I think they're just very detail oriented, and when they see something going wrong, they're quick to correct it, but they're also quick to move on from it. And that was something that Alex Atkins had said the other day, was basically that, they want to make corrections as quick as possible, but they also want to move on as quick as possible, and they'll go back at some point and get it corrected. They are hard on them sometimes, but you also see them give them love when they need to show love. And, they're always the first guys to run down the field and congratulate a player. So I think it's a good balance that they bring to the practice field.
All right. A lot of good energy, a lot of good detail. That's good. The only reason I ask is that I think the mental makeup of this team is something we don't normally like to talk about, those soft factors on the show, but with the type of starts that this team has had the past 4 years, how they you could see them literally crumble in games. You could almost see it was an inflection point after their biggest win of the season against UNC. There was almost sort of like a crumbling factor with the veteran players. I think it's something to keep an eye on. Adam, have your trench talk.
No, I want to touch on that a little bit more, though. I think that's an interesting conversation. So, I mean, one thing,
well,
something that Mike,
I
do have a counseling master's degree. Thank you very much. I do, but Mike's talked a lot about, wanting to establish culture and all those things. But you can tell, I mean, you can kind of get the sense that he's, just from the things that I know Brett's reported and all the other beat members have reported, that it's been a challenge to him to challenge this team to prepare them for the tough moments that they're going to face this season, right? I mean, he talked about at UNF, one of the big things that they wanted to accomplish there was to make them uncomfortable because they're going to be in close games this year, and they're going to need to kind of understand how to handle that uncomfortableness, right? I mean, Brett, can you, when they're talking to these guys and they're challenging them, I mean, does it almost seem like it's a purpose even beyond just trying to correct something? Like, it's like, look, I mean, it's got to be right, or else we're really going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, they basically stressed that, if you don't do things the right way, then things aren't going to go your way. And I mean, they're only playing each other, so we can only see how improved that is. But I mean, just from watching practices, I mean, these guys care a lot more, and I think that Norvell said that, but they need to kind of care in a more disciplined way. I mean, there's been some scrums, and some of those aren't good, but some of them are also, you can just see them care about their teammates more. I think Jordan Travis was hit one day after a throw, and I think it was Trayshawn Ward that got in a defensive lineman's face and basically pushed the defensive lineman over. And
man, all right, don't tell us who the defensive lineman was. That might not be great.
But it was just a heat of the moment thing, and I mean, especially at UNF, we saw some heat of the moment things, but they just need to, I think, aim that care and the want to in the right direction. And penalties were kind of an issue this week in practice, but I think some of that's just the length of the practices they had and the length of the week they had. But if they can kind of hone that in and direct it in the right direction, then I think they'll I think you'll definitely see a team that doesn't give in as easily as last year.
I think this is important, so I just have one more question. I'm sorry, Trey.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was actually just taking a dramatic pause for no reason at all. Don't worry about it.
Do you feel like there's anybody specifically besides the staff? The staff's, you have to be player led. I mean, that's the number one goal for any type of sports team. You need to be player led. Are there any players that you look at and you kind of see that Coach Norvell and those guys are getting on, but are there guys on the team that are getting on guys also?
Yeah, I mean, I think Keyshawn Helton was a guy a few times this week that did. And, obviously, I mean, I don't remember when it was, but somebody said that kid is the definition of a Seminole. And I think it was Dillingham a couple weeks ago. He always keeps the energy up, and he always, doesn't really get in guys' face, but he just lets them know that they need to do something better. That, trying to think specifically of some players. I mean, Brownlee's a guy that always is gonna lead by example, I think. And, they've said that Dotson is a guy that leads by example, but they just need some guys to, start leading with their voice a little bit more. And, I'm trying to think. I think Amari Gaynor was one of the guys they said that has stepped up a bit and a guy that puts in a lot of work off the field.
Yeah. I know Keir Thomas is a name that's been thrown around a lot.
Keir Thomas was the other name. He was in the Devontae Love-Taylor also, just as a guy that brings, that whole offensive line room together. And I think Dylan Gibbons was, they said he was on his way there too. He just needs to make some more relationships. And he's only been here, a month, I think.
Yeah, you're naming a lot of people who weren't here last year.
Right. Yeah. I think, Keir Thomas in the defensive line room, I think that's a big one. Just adding him in there and him being able to come in quickly and make relationships, I think that will make a big difference in that room.
That's good.
Well, we were going to get to film, and we're still going to, but I'm not letting you off the hook, brother. Talking Florida State, so two things we're always going to be talking about. First, what do you think of the offensive line? Is there improvement? Are there depth concerns? I think yes. You tell me, you're smarter than me and you were there. And then two, talk quarterbacks, man. What's going on with quarterbacks, and who do you think's ultimately going to be the starter for Notre Dame? Put you on the hot seat. You can answer that one last.
I'll go, offensive line.
Take your time. Take your time.
Offensive line, the depth is improved, but it's still not. I mean, I don't think it's what they want yet.
Sure.
But, I think they have got some young guys that they think have taken steps from last year. I think Zane Herring is one of those guys, and Lloyd Willis is one of those guys. But, also with O-line this week, it was a lot of workload stuff. And some days they were really good, and some days it was just bad.
Was that due to the personnel? Was that due to the workload stuff specifically, or have we seen some bad days from the perceived ones as well?
I don't think you've seen really bad days from the perceived ones. There's definitely been days they've given up pressure, but I think it's going to be a team that can create some space in the run game like they did last year. And it's a team that, if a really good defensive line comes in, they're probably not going to have their best day, but it's not going to be a free-for-all like it was the last few years or whatever it was. But
It's not a colander. We're not a colander. Maybe just like a smaller piece of baby Swiss cheese or something.
yeah, I mean, a lot of it depends on Devontae Love Taylor too, and I think they're expecting to have him for opening weekend, and he's a guy that can play all 5 positions for them. Maurice Smith has looked really good, I've thought. I thought Dante Lucas this week had a really good week, actually. Had a lot of wins this week.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, very.
Him and Gibbons will be, working out, a competition there inside. But I think it all just depends on, those outside guys and those young guys that they have on the inside. So we'll see. I mean, sometimes it's hard to tell in these practices if it's, the D line's really good or if the O line's just not doing stuff. That's the hardest thing to tell. And
sure,
at least I think they have more depth, but it's still, a ways to go there depth wise.
Okay. Part 2.
Gosh.
Tell me about the quarterbacks as much as you can without Mikey getting mad.
I'll say I think they have 2 really good options at quarterback. And
Oh my God!
Tate Rodemaker and Chuba Purdy.
I could see you reading the notes.
They took a lot of
from under
snaps
your
this week.
screen. All right, so we
Started
got
one
2
and
good
started
options.
it.
So are you material?
Thursday was unstoppable, basically, it looked like. And he had a really good day.
Who?
Mackenzie Millen on Thursday. It was just,
Okay.
especially over the middle of the field, which, is a weakness for Florida State's defense, but it hasn't really been there for Florida State's offense in the last couple of years. So it's
Very
good
true.
to take advantage of the middle of the field more. And, that helps, wide receivers like, Keyshawn Helton and Ontario Wilson's been really doing work there in the middle of the field. The last time that, Jordan Travis had a ton of reps, the majority of reps, I think, was a practice I saw at UNF. And that day he was the best player on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they've both had days where they've been the best players on the field. And, they both have different strengths, I think. I think, honestly, you're going to see a good bit of both of them. I think they'd be kind of silly not to use Jordan or not to use, Mackenzie in some sort of way. But, I think Mackenzie will probably be, the starter behind center. But I could also see Jordan being on the field to play 1.
Sure, I can understand. And not necessarily the guy who's taking the first snap is necessarily the guy who's going to be taking the most snaps. That might actually be an interesting change of pace to start a Jordan Travis, have Notre Dame cycle their Jordan Travis playbook, and then you got a lot of Mackenzie Milton stuff.
I think it's going to be it's going to be an issue for teams game planning against Florida State at the least, I think.
And when a team is not good, when you can't run up and just run people over, we've talked about it on the show multiple times. It's all about misdirection. It's all about kind of subterfuge, confusion, anything to get some hesitancy. So if you can do that with your game plan, I understand why Mike is holding it so close to the vest, as they say, and I'm good with it. So you don't have to talk about it anymore. We want to keep you at those practices. We want to keep the big man happy with you. Kevin, should you roll some of that beautiful bean footage?
All right, we want to go most recent or least recent this
Least
week.
recent.
All right, let's start from the beginning.
I would like, that'd be good to see the progression.
All right.
Brett, how close are you guys are you right up on the sideline, pretty close up to the action when you're looking at all this stuff?
Yeah, so the 3 sessions we have at least to take video. Well, this is at UNF, so
Is that Jared Jackson?
Yeah, that's a awful drill.
We've got the best of the best here. Got the full party.
Can of water
What's
gun.
the point? Is that for distractions or something? I
Yeah,
mean, this was actually
probably.
clowned on quite a bit.
Yeah, you're just trying to get them to change their eyesight and focus on the ball. I mean, people do all kinds of stupid stuff. They throw stuff at them. I mean, it's all kinds of nonsense. Why not have a little fun?
Fans like to make the biggest deal out of the littlest.
Oh my God, you're telling me, man.
This is the most god awful drill right there.
Why do you say that?
Because you have to stay so low, and that thing is freaking heavy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not they look awful. It's just a tough drill on the players.
Mm-hmm.
This is the cat and mouse drill. Brett, what have you seen in this drill? Like anybody whose moves have surprised you, or you think somebody's going to be a threat in the open field?
I think Jackson West has put on some good moves here, and Jordan.
Interesting. Okay.
Gainer slow again.
Yeah, that's twice here.
People gotta hate to hear me say it, but
Well,
I mean,
yeah, Brett. What do you think of Amari Gainer?
he's
You said
just too
something
high there.
about you
Yeah.
said something about him being a guy who's worked hard off the field. What do you think about that transition for him to be that that second level linebacker? Has it looked a little bit more smooth or still TBD?
I still think it's a little bit TBD. I mean, in practice, he's been his best coming off the edge and blitzes, and that's always been what he's best at Florida State since I've been here. And
Yeah, he's leaning forward here.
Well, just
right.
So the guy he matches up with a little bit better in Cam McDonald, and then they're not trying to tackle them here. They're trying to be in position.
I know, but your feet can't be this narrow at this point.
No,
in time.
they can't. Yep, agreed.
So still some issues breaking down, kind of getting there, and you want to make the offender make the move as opposed to you kind of reacting. So that's just.
I mean, I
instincts,
think that's why a lot of
guess.
people see him more as a fox.
Run that one back. To
Those are
Burrell.
two offensive guys, right?
Yeah, look at Josh Burrell, who plays wide receiver. Look at how much better position. And
look at those feet.
Are you saying we have a new linebacker? You think we need to?
I think Burrell could play anywhere. That kid, I think he's going to be a good player.
Yeah, Burrell's fun.
These are offensive guys. I mean, obviously this is a full team kind of drill. Helps with special teams.
And as you said, this was one of the earlier practices, so everybody's improving.
Little toss read outside. We saw that a lot last year.
Yeah, we did.
No biggie.
Although I'm not convinced it's a read anymore. I mean, we haven't ever seen him toss
right.
it.
You're right. Shot play.
That was actually a decent ball.
How's Jordan Travis's ball looked, Brett?
Here's.
This is really well.
Run that one back. That's actually a really well thrown ball. He just misses him. And Steven Dix. This is why Steven Dix can't play yet this year until he can learn how to run. You can't have a tight end just sprint past you.
I love this play design though.
Mm-hmm.
You get this deep comeback here, gets the safety to kind of commit, and you isolate on the linebacker. If you've got a middle of field open look, it's a nice little set.
The tight ends have been a group that's been off maligned by this show sometimes in particular. What do we think about the tight ends? Getting Jordan Wilson back is a big deal from the blocking standpoint. Are there any other pass-catching threats besides Cam McDonald, in your opinion, Brad?
I think Jackson West could be a guy by the end of the year that, I think he might be their most balanced guy in the way that, he's not afraid to lay a nose on someone and make a block. And, he's made plays. I don't remember what day it was exactly this week, but I believe he had a couple really nice catches and some plays down the field. McDonald, we didn't see of a ton this week. His best play in practice has been that touchdown catch he had right there.
Right.
Honestly, Marcus and Douglas probably had the best week of tight ends making plays down the field.
There's a name.
And he's dropped a lot of weight, and he's a big-bodied kid, and not the easiest to get off of a route or anything, but also not the fastest. We haven't really seen Wilson go full speed yet, but I think they expect him to be there against Notre Dame.
And that's what's so tough about these camp reports. You're seeing a lot of these guys get some opportunities that they're not even going to be able to sniff during the regular season when that rotation tightens down a bit. It would be interesting to see if Marcus and Douglas could get on the field this year. That was a kid that was a big-time project coming out of Tennessee with Darian Williamson. I believe they were teammates.
Jamie Robinson.
You want to see that again?
Oh, I freaking love that kid, man. He is a football player.
Which is very solid.
He is just a damn football player, man.
I mean, I've said repeatedly that if you can get the stud position fixed, that does dividends for this defense.
First off, he freaking falls down coming around the cone and still manages to get back in position. I mean, look
at that. That's textbook feet chopping, wide base.
Yeah. Brett, how's he looked in practice? Before we move forward here.
He's looked good and he's made plays. They just have him in so many different spots, and I think he's still, trying to learn all those different spots they have.
Yeah.
He's a high energy guy. He's around the ball a lot, and I think he's going to help them in the run game a lot too. I think he's always down there in the run game, and he's helped them on the outside a little bit.
Now here's some of your alpha dogs. I mean, we talked about Jamie. There's Jarvis Brown.
Yeah, that looked sharp.
We saw Travis J the rep before.
Malik McLean.
Yeah, yep, Malik McLean. There's
So
Jordan Young.
The wide receivers, I don't know. We'll probably get a chance to talk about it during the team stuff. I would really like to have two solid threats on the outside that can open it up for the Ontario Wilsons and the Keyshawn Heltons in the slot. It's
There's
just
Damori Tate.
give them some more space to operate.
Gadzooks, what is that orange jersey?
Did you say Gadzooks?
Gadzooks?
Looney
That's
Tunes
a very-
I
character?
did say.
We're not in Delaware anymore, man.
I've got kids. Come on.
Well, they don't listen to this.
Darian Williamson. There's a number 21 on the last play. There's the guy whose name's been coming up more and more. There's my boy Adam.
Some of the stuff.
Yeah, there was old Adam Fuller.
Yeah, my boy Adam Full.
Oh, that was
man.
nice. Who was that?
Now
Is
is
that
this
Jay?
That's Jay. Yeah.
is this the end of the? I know there was a big. Everybody was up in arms.
Busted play,
maybe this is it, to where it was like end of the period or whatever, and Chuba just throws it up there.
I mean,
I
I think that was the end of a tempo drill, Adam.
yeah,
He
yeah,
threw
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
a Hail Mary pick.
Yeah,
But
and
there's no
every-
context. It's tough to have the context
Mm-hmm.
with all this stuff. But I guess while we're waiting for the next video to load, Brett, what's your opinion? Like, how many solid wide receivers does Florida State actually have? Last year they had about 0.
Wow, that's
Solid's a hell of a definition.
I think Keyshawn Helton and Wilson are both
shooting for the moon.
solid guys. I mean, but are they ever going to give you, a star wide receiver? I don't think so.
Is there an
both
outside
guys-
threat on this team for game 1, you think?
I think that's what they still need to work on, and I think it could be Parchment, it could be McLean, but both have been up and down. And I think McLean is the most talented of the group, but he's a freshman, and is he going to be able to do that game 1? I don't know. Maybe by
Right.
game 12, sure.
What's been Andrew Parchment's progression? There's been a lot on him. You come from just a putrid Chernobyl level nuclear meltdown of a program, which is the University of Kansas football team. And you come over to Florida State, a program in flux. There seems to be some learning pains, some growing pains. How's Andrew Parchment's progression been? Has he been somebody you've been disappointed with, impressed by? What do you think?
I wouldn't say disappointed with, but it's just kind of riding the wave right now with him. And I think he's going to be in that first group at some point, and I think he's going to be a guy. But is he going to be a guy that they can rely on game 1 to game 2 to game 3? I still think that needs to be shown in practice a little bit more. They've got some second tier guys that have potential, but are still young, and like Williamson, like you guys were talking about. Kentron Portier has been a lot more improved this fall, but they're still young, and they showed inconsistencies last year when they got in the game. So it's just, can they be more consistent this year and provide some depth for that room?
Almost thinking back, you never want to play the whole hindsight as 2020 with the transfer portal scholarships. Maybe should have looked at another wide receiver or something, man. Just looking back, and I can't remember back what the crop of people was, but it's another room that's just a big old question mark, man. And I think they were the most disappointing unit on the offense last year, more so than the O-line.
I mean, by
There's
far.
Jackson West.
Yeah, that was a good move.
Very good. That's a big boy move, making a move like that.
You're
I've
big,
I've
Jackson
planted my flag on what I think his future is. So
You said Hall of Famer?
I did not say Hall of Famer.
NFL Hall of Famer?
Did not say-
First ballot?
Did not say that. All right, let's
All
watch
right,
Gainer
let's
here.
see
Let's
it.
watch Gainer again. See if it's any better.
Not really.
Not really. Just a lunger. He's a lunger. He is what he is. He's a lunger.
Notice how everybody else breaks their feet down, has a nice wide base. Come on, dude. So athletic. He's got the talent.
Brett, does it show in practice too?
There's been times they've targeted him down the field, and honestly, it's been the guys that have flashed a linebacker have been DJ Lundy and Kalen DeLoach. Other than that, it's been, not great, to be honest.
What do we think of Lundy? We always talk about on this program, Lundy his body type is certainly not ideal for a linebacker in modern college football. Is that something that you notice, just like his mobility, his agility? Is that something that's a hindrance in practice, or are we just making too much of his body type?
Honestly, in practice, I thought he's been moving really well, sideline to sideline. He's made plays a lot. stopping those tosses that you saw in the last UNF video. He stopped that a couple times. He's kind of capped off those both sides of the field a couple times, but and he'll lay down the hit stick once in a while. I just think, like a lot of these guys, is he going to be able to cover consistently? With Deloach, I think he can cover consistently, but you wonder if he's going to be able to, if he can lay the nose down.
Well, that's a nice ball.
Very nice.
Who threw that?
Who's that? That's
Chubba.
Jordan Young on the catch.
No, that's Tate, dude.
It's a Tate.
Chill, bro.
Is it Tate bomb? Can we agree that Chubba has been better than Tate through fall camp? Thank you, Brett. Thank you.
I don't remember pausing the video and saying,
"Ooh." That's
just
good.
kidding. I'm just messing.
It would be nice to see one of those Taggart era kind of like second, third year wide receivers, man, step up, because somebody's going to need to. And then the whole linebacker thing, it's almost like Florida State doesn't have a complete linebacker on the entire roster. Emmett Rice is your closest, but he's hurt. So it's like, which combination of the two can almost give you a complete linebacker look? It really is mix and match.
The nice part is you got a boatload of DBs you're going to be able to play. So
yeah, there's going to be a lot of five DB sets. You're going to see a lot of Jamie Robinson.
maybe some
in
6
the box.
DB stuff.
Oh, there he is.
There, the man, the myth, the legend.
There he is.
The iconic Thursday practice.
Got a lot of reps this week.
How does he look, Brett, movement-wise?
I mean, this day they had a lot of designed run plays for him. Not a lot.
No brace.
No brace. That means he's 100% healed, and there's no question about it.
And he's wearing different shoes. Pay attention to the shoes.
Has he got like robot shoes? Like what is it?
Pay attention to the shoes. He wears different shoes than everybody else. Pay attention.
I will now.
Look at those shoes.
Look at him. Look at him.
Dope kicks.
He's just going with the high tops.
I don't know. People make a deal out of everything.
Those shoes just look older. I remember those shoes when I was in high school.
I think they're just. I think they're
those
just
are from his freshman season of college. So they're like 8 years old.
I think they're turf cleats and everybody else is wearing actual cleats.
What's going on? Chris Thompson taking out some anger. Yeah.
He looks like he loves every second of that drill too.
Oh, yeah. How's he at Brett? He's an enigma to me, Brett Nevitt. How's old Chris Thompson? How's he at practice? He an intense individual.
I've been, other than that has ever been real close up. I mean,
due to fear, keep your distance.
Like he'd be going nuts at practice, but I've never seen him or heard him go absolutely off on anybody like you might expect.
Yeah, he's not like a Rush Probst or anything, but I think he looks like the guy that would get.
Fat man doing angle tackle drills. Yeah,
this is it.
This is the biggest.
Is this Dante Lucas?
Yes.
Oh my Lanta.
Let's see the Pope in space. Oh, I got to see that again.
Oh, come on.
Woo! Break this down. Get out your telestrator,
Kevin. What were you filming? Oh,
I'm so glad. That's the best thing.
Look at that and not film some of it.
Oh,
we gotta work on Thompson's throwing form.
All right, here we go. Chris Marv running them on the field. The most. Do people hate him or Adam Fuller more?
Online, I don't know, dude. That's unfortunately my specialty. It's pretty neck and neck.
Wait, you're saying people don't like Adam Fuller?
There we go. Little throwaway screen. Good movement in the pocket. Getting up out of there.
Yeah, but he's got a brace on, so therefore
back, right?
I don't know, maybe. Drop the change the arm
That's
slot.
A nice throw.
Kind of sidearmed it out there.
That is nice.
The dart out there.
I guess I forgot that Mackenzie Milton had the diversity of the arm angles.
Is unstable,
yeah. Well, that's okay. We'll just let it ride.
Little offsides bomb. Nice catch. Out of bounds.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of Mackenzie here.
Another dart.
Brett, a lot of observers' concern is that a lot of the progress that Florida State made in the running game last year was specifically due to Travis's mobility. Has Florida State been able to advance in the running game with Mackenzie Milton as the quarterback, or has it been all gains through passing?
I mean, I don't remember certain times it was Mackenzie, but I think they're consistent with all the quarterbacks that are out there and all the running backs that are out there.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, I think Deontay Sheffield broke off like a 70-yard touchdown run the other day. And
yep, you're blocking well then for sure.
There's been a lot.
I've been pretty impressed by this left tackle here.
Robert Scott.
He's looking good. Last play it was a DB. Now this, he keeps his feet, keeps his balance.
Oh boy.
Breath
Oh,
life
dude,
flash
good
before his
action
eyes.
cam, Nevitt. Well done.
I passed before my eyes twice during this video.
Pokey having a day here.
Pokey's been probably the most reliable wide receiver for the quarterbacks so far.
That seems like a significant statement to me, because he kind of had a good beginning of the year and then fell off, and
It's
Well,
good to
they're-
see Keyshawn Helton move
they're
like he needs to
eating
move.
the middle
man.
of the field here.
Here comes my life.
You should have caught that.
Yeah, what were you doing,
Look at
Brett?
you. That's courage, Nevitt. Well, it doesn't seem to be not a lot of turnovers when McKenzie's at quarterback, Brett.
No, they're very efficient with him and Jordan on the field. I can't remember very many turnovers with either of them on the field in the 6 viewings I've had.
How's the kicker competition going?
And they've both been consistent. I could not tell you which way it's going to go. And I think Papa just said yesterday or a couple days ago that they kind of know where it is going to go a little bit. That they're still going to wait a little bit, but both of
God,
them.
they're even doing drama with the kicking
And
competition. I love it.
Mastromanno's been pretty good too, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Punting?
we can't let Notre Dame know who's going to be kicking the field goals.
Hopefully, they're just kicking a lot of extra points.
I haven't seen either of them miss in a team period.
Oh,
That's pretty good. And I always was a fan of Fitzgerald because he was hitting on like MILFs and stuff on Florida State Twitter. So that always gave him a couple bonus points to me. It's our
This
first-
This is
it's
how
our-
Trey
Oh,
chooses his kickers.
Well, it's just it's all
hanging
toss
field
up,
goals
man.
and
See, Adam, you took it too far. You always do. Anyway, looks like it's their first video in full pads.
Gino English.
Gino
Run
English.
it back. We need to break that down. Brett, how did you describe Gino English? No, Tommy was the one describing
The goat.
the GOAT. Yeah.
Yep, we got to break this down.
Nice throws this week.
All right, that's good footwork so
The
far.
little half step and then the full step to the ride with the mesh point.
Oh my God, you're telestrating Gino English.
Eyes on the defensive
eyes on his
end.
target.
Good ride here.
Yeah, I'd like to see it a little deeper.
Yeah. Well, he makes up for it with his blazing speed around the
Nice
edge.
nice throw to the sideline. Ooh, look at that out close.
Nice.
Yeah, he looks special.
Good breakdown.
Who, Gino?
Yeah.
Travis J.
Travis J looks special. It looks like he's gonna have a.
He does look
decent
good.
year.
I
He looked pretty
take back
natural.
what
at
you guys are going to see in the
corner,
DB.
Brett.
I think he's going to be their best overall player on the roster this year.
Travis J?
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, dude. I like.
I mean, the only catches I've seen him give up, they're contested, and it has to come on a pretty nice catch. I mean, that's against
No free yards. Man, if you could get him as the boundary guy with Brownlee at the field, or switch it. Okay, I just had a stroke there. Yeah, whatever, dude. If you could actually like shore up the boundary side with a player like Travis J, that just fixes so many
All right,
defensive
Mari
issues
with a
he
little
had last
interception.
year. There you go. See,
Offside, so it didn't count, but that's okay.
not his fault. See, there's
No, not at all.
athleticism's
Gotta
there.
gotta give him credit when credit is due. Tate,
This is-
where are you going, Tate?
You're just ashamed of athleticism. You don't even know.
Oh, look at Keir Thomas come off that edge.
Let's-
Holy moly.
Let's look at
I
Keir
did not
Thomas.
know. I did not know he could come. I did not know he was that explosive with the first step.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, boom!
Yeah, that's
It-
gonna be like I think we've all beaten on this drum, but that's gonna be the kid in that he was kind of the throw-in and the Jamie Robinson pickup. People are gonna know about Keir Thomas, just your casual Florida State fan by the end of the year for sure.
Shayne Brown with some pressure.
Nice.
Oh,
Is that Knowles?
Kevin Knowles with
Yeah.
a beautiful one-handed pick.
That kid's good.
Yeah, he is good. I wish he was a little bigger.
Yeah, don't we all? But
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
I think that's how you get a kid like him
Yeah, I agree.
when you're struggling. All right, last one.
I love it. It's good video, Brett.
so that was the last one.
No, this is the last one.
This okay, good. Say-
Yeah, we have one more, guys. Come on, we have another 3 minutes and 45 seconds of this.
What'd you say?
There's much
You could
content in this video.
we could probably skip by this one. That's
Brett, where can people find this though? Where do you normally post this stuff at?
I believe my YouTube is just Brett Nevitt.
It is.
Don't think there's anything else to it.
Well, there you go, man. A simple yet efficient videographer for anything but a simple man. Brett,
That's-
you're doing the Lord's work here, my friend. Oh, you know what? We
Simulating
haven't
the
talked
return.
about it yet. Special teams. Anybody stood out in the return game? Very hard to simulate
Yeah,
in
people-
practice. Not going full speed.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really ever go full speed at it, and they're just trying to get their alignments right and everything. But I mean, I think Travis J has been the guy in punt return specifically. I think Corey Wren will be back there too with him in kick return and
That'll be nice.
a little Corbin. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you can use back there.
Travis J was a difference maker in the few opportunities he had last year in return game. I'm excited to see Corey Wren though. I mean,
And I'll say Jermaine Johnson will probably be the best overall player now that I think about it.
well, that's
Okay.
good because that's what
Amendment to the statement.
you needed
So-
him to be. You needed him to come in to be and be that. So that's a good thing.
How's he been as far as like a leader? We hear a lot about Keir Thomas. You know, sometimes it's hard for the transfer guys that are coming in, you know, trying to make an impact big year one. How's Jermaine Johnson mesh with the team culturally?
I mean, just from what I've seen, I think he's more of a lead by example. I mean, I don't think I've seen him up in anybody's face or anything like that at practice. But, you know, another guy I really liked how they performed on D-line this year is Dennis Briggs, who's looked really, really good on the inside.
Yeah, good call.
And I think you'd probably want a little more weight on him. But, I mean, right as of now, he's making it work. And he comes up with a lot of plays in the run game. And also he's flashed a couple times with a couple
Hey, hey,
That was a lot better. That was a lot better.
See the
hey.
progression.
Look at there. I can now draw a wide line for Gainer's base.
That was a
Oh,
lot
you
better.
guys can't see it, but I drew it. Yeah.
Can
lot
you
better.
draw Chris Marv's base? He is an oddly shaped individual.
Are you saying he's a pair?
I didn't say it. You did. He seems to be an oddly shaped. Now, once again, that's a Division I athlete who could snap me in half like Batman Bane style, but he's just built a little strange. All right. Jordan Travis leading the offense.
I'm not going to talk about the packages that are in here because I think I'd get in trouble if I do. I mean,
Well,
people
then
people
Don't
can
do it.
see it, but I'm not going to talk about it. But I'm excited about it.
Don't
So just
do
take a look at who's lined up where and what they're doing because it's kind of interesting. If you're a Notre Dame person watching, turn it off.
Get out of here.
Brett, where do you think that Jordan Travis's biggest strides have come in the passing game? Is it in a specific area? Is it just confidence overall? Is it velocity? What's really caught your eye about his improvement passing?
Well, for one, I definitely think it's confidence, and I think he said that too, and just that feels so much more confident through stuff his teammates and coaches have told him. But also, I think he looks downfield a lot more when he's outside the pocket rather than just taking off. I think we saw that a lot at UNF. That one practice I was there when he was really good that day. There are a few times that he made really nice plays outside the pocket, throwing the ball down the field, and you could tell that he wasn't just thinking, just go, just run. But I mean, obviously he's going to make those plays with his legs still if he gives an opportunity, but I think he'll also be a threat with his arm outside the pocket.
Yeah, it is interesting because a lot of the times when you're hearing the highlights of Jordan Travis, it's like he made the play outside the pocket. So you're wondering if he's exiting the pocket a little bit too early. However, like you said, man, big difference. He's still making the passing plays out of the pocket. So that'll be something that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Now, Brett, I think we're done with the observations. We've covered a lot. We've talked a lot. A lot of expert opinion, your expertise, if you will. What to you are the big at this kind of like this is the point where camp shifts from really working on yourself, and now we're starting to prepping on the opponent, just like we here at the Triple Option will do. You will know that if you subscribe to the X's and O's YouTube page, and give Kevin all your money at the Patreon so he can prep even better. But what to you? What to you are the biggest storylines? What are you looking for as Florida State shifts into that Notre Dame prep, Mr. Brett Nevitt?
I mean, obviously everybody's going to talk about quarterbacks, but I think either way they go, quarterback's not going to be a liability for Florida State this year, and I think they're going to have a quarterback that can make plays. Offensively, I think they need to find, storyline is just, can they find a playmaker, somebody that can win 50-50 balls and, really help out the quarterbacks in tough situations. Obviously the linebacker question is always going to be there and always be a storyline with this team. But I think just, storyline will be, can this defensive line be as good as, some of the talent they have, and sort of hide the linebackers a bit, and sort of, also help the defensive back room out a bit as well. So I think if the defensive line can play up to its potential, which it didn't come anywhere near last year, that it would just be a major boost to what they can do on their schedule.
I agree with that, Brett. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sure we will lean on your expert analysis throughout the season as our eyes are boots on the ground in Tallahassee, guys. Follow Brett on Twitter at Brett, 2 T's, correct?
Yeah.
At Brett PN on Twitter. Number 1, he's there. He's seeing all the football teams. But yeah, if you like a bit of the old sticky handball, he is a baseball aficionado. As impressed as you are here with his knowledge, my God, he is like Buster Olney, but he is not a crippling dork. The man is a baseball savant. Follow him. Check out his work on Tomahawk Nation, our mother website. And just this is another episode of the Triple Option Boys. Anything you want to say before we say our closing line?
Make sure you get on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram. Check out Triple Option FSU.
Triple Option FSU, Instagram, Twitter, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Guys, thank you again. Keep shopping.
Shove it up.